Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Musical People Journeys rock album review show. Woohoo! Welcome to my amazing panel, to Dom, to Simon, to Paul, to Will, and to Trish. Welcome back, guys.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, if you've not tuned into the show before, please, if you like and you like what you listen to, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're going to get that out of the way. Well, the show's all about rating the latest album reviews and rating them out of 25, 5 each. And me and Trish's, in case you're doing the maths, there's 6 of me and Trish's votes are combined. So, what we got here today, well, first of all, if they get more than 23, they automatically get into our Album of the Year. If they get into 20 plus, they're into our amazing Hall of Fame from that score. And ultimately, where would we spend our 20 quid? Which album would we buy on a head-to-head? So, first of all, what's today's show? Well, we have Beartooth versus Wargasm UK. Beartooth, the album called The Surface, and Wargasm, their album called Venom. Paul, give us a little bit of background on Beartooth. Who are they, my friend?
Beartooth are an American rock band founded by vocalist and multi-instrumentalist Caleb Shortmore in Columbus, Ohio in 2012. Originally, Shortmore performed every instrument when in the studio before being joined by a 4-piece band. Beartooth has been signed to Red Bull Records since 2013. Its debut EP album Sick was released in 2013, followed by the debut full-length album Disgusting in 2014. Since then, Shortmore has released a further 3 studio albums under Beartooth moniker: Aggressive 2016, Disease 2018, and Below 2021. I came across Beartooth with the song Skin, which hit my playlist, so I was looking forward to this album to see how they'd progressed. The opening song has me confused about Beartooth, infusing pop band rock with American hardcore metal. It swings in between the two, and so the story goes with the rest of the album. The successful single Riptide is probably the best attempt on the album of combining both genres, but it makes the album a difficult listen. The Surface has more pop rock incorporated into the songs than previous records, which is fine in itself, but when they infuse the American hardcore element, it just feels silly and out of place. Similarly, when they kick off with the heavy element in songs such as What's Killing You, and then totally wimp out, just loses the impact of what they have to say. Look the Other Way, What Are You Waiting For, and I Was Alive clearly show the band have a bright future. It's just how long they can hold their audience by swinging in between the two contrasting genres.
Wow. Okay, talking about contrast, Dom.
Oh yeah, this is my thing. Beartooth, amazing. The album starts like Beastie Boys doing metalcore for me. It was so cool. It was sick. Then you get like all the dark and light, aggressive vocal outbursts, everything you want. But it is also actually a really bright, sharp, hopeful album, which I actually really loved. There's something really kind of light about it as well, and amazing energy. And it's for me, I would say it's kind of really accessible album into those genres. It's a real way of getting into that type of music because it's really well sung. It's melody driven throughout all the songs, strong on melody, and then you get all the breakdowns, you get the riffs, like on Riptide rips. It is amazing. And What's Killing You, that is just sick when he's got like this line at the end of a line where he just goes, fuck 'em up. It just slays me. It is amazing. Just what I love. And then you got like the slightly whispered pre-choruses. It's killing me, seeing what's killing you. Just great lines. I think, in terms of songwriting, I think it's just incredible. And then the last track on the album, normally a bit of a dud, but I Was Alive, I thought it was just quality. It's like really to the heart of their genre. It's kind of classic metalcore with a kind of punk feel to it, and could easily stand on its own. The last track they put on the album, for me, I thought it was great. So, awesome album.
William, awesome album for you, mate.
I mean, again, it's a bit weird. Fun little merging of things left, right, and centre. Hitting from a friend. What's it going to be? Is it going to be angry? Is it going to be calm? Is it going to be poppy? Is it going to be angry? Is it going to be shouting? Is a man going to scream at me? And that kind of feeling of being kept on edge for the album was awesome. It's great. Obviously, for me, any album that starts off with a man screaming at me, it's that's what I need in my life. More of that screamy, please. Thank you, Beartooth. Obviously, Beartooth have been around. They've been around a while. I've dabbled in their music in my time, and for me, this was a really cool album. I can't remember which song it was, but the one that featuring Hardy, the definitely most legit country singer in America. Definitely not a man who makes fun of country music at all. That was a great track, mainly because he just really amuses me, because he just makes fun of country but also does really good country songs. So this is I don't know what it is. I can't properly explain this album with its fun amalgamations of pop, metalcore, and rock. This is fantastic. It's just a really fun time, really enjoyable. I added a few tracks to one of my playlists, and I'm definitely going to listen to this many more times in the future. It's a wonderful time.
Right, talking about a wonderful mashup, Trish. Did this mash up for you?
Okay. I'm not going to lie. On first listen to this album, I was like a bear with a sore head and toothache because of the screamo, growlo, which, as we know, is not my bag. But that was on first listen, and I had to look past this one thing to be able to analyse the album properly. This album does need to be listened to more than once to appreciate it musically, as the lead vocals are clear and harmonised when not screamo. Also, the guitars and synths are a good mix. The beginning of Sunshine and when the vocals kick in reminded me of the Beastie Boys song You've Got to Fight for Your Right. I can't say this was a bad album, as to lovers of the genre of rock will love it. It's just not for me and my personal preference in rock.
Oh, Simon, now, if William likes it, surely you're also going to love it.
I am fairly new to Beartooth, but their track "The Past Is Dead" is like an absolute repeater on my playlist. I love that track so much. So I was going into this album expecting a certain sound, and The Surface set the tone perfectly. Like roaring vocals, crushing riffs, this uplifting sound, clean vocals, singing all these words of positivity. The album's just this beautiful medley, and I'm absolutely here for it. Riptide was great. As soon as he sang "Don't Ever Fucking Doubt Me," I slapped Doubt Me into my personal playlist right away. What's Killing You slaps hard. Even the more pop tracks like Might Love Myself, which I'm pretty sure is a nod to Bieber, with its positive messaging, it's all just fantastic. I love it so much. I probably need to swap notes with Dom, like you said before, because all the same notes on it. It's just great. So I'm not going to reiterate everything, but the closing track, "I Was Alive," it's such a pop punk vibe. It's so positive. It's so affirming. I absolutely love and adore that track to the bottom of my heart. I thought it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic album.
So picture this, I'm in the car with my daughter, we're playing Beartooth, and she turns second, I think it was either the second or third track, and she goes, Dad, is that One Direction?
What?
And I'm going, and then she hums the tune, and it was like, well, yes, it's One Direction does metalcore, and I do not like One Direction, for sure, and I don't like metalcore. So, could I listen to this album more than once? Once heard, by the way, I could not escape. It's One Direction does metalcore, and it is utter rubbish. Hated it. Can't stand it. Never listen to it again. Once lonely, bang, rubbish. Not my cup of tea in the slightest. Way too much screamo. Way too much One Direction. Yeah, sorry, really not my cup of tea. I mean, One Direction does metalcore. This is really pretty much what it does, really, and I can't say anything more than that. So there we go.
Firmly blaming your daughter here for ruining it for you.
No, she pointed it out, and she hummed the One Direction tune in tune to the track, and it was One Direction. And it was just like, oh my God, sent shivers down my spine. It was just, what? I couldn't think of a worse album between One Direction and Wargasm. Yeah, it was. You could listen to it at least, because it did have that pop punk with metalcore, so you get to the album. But I won't be listening to this one again. Not my cup of tea. But I appreciate you all. So anyway, Wargasm. Paul, tell us a little bit about Wargasm. Moving on.
Yeah, any album that starts with a useless 1 minute intro and ends with an equally 2 minute, 19-second banal track is never going to do itself any favours. Wargasm UK has generated a lot of attention, taking Milky Way and Sam Matlock, who's the son of the original Sex Pistols bassist Glenn Matlock, 5 years to make, in which time they've toured with Limp Bizkit, Corey Taylor and Neck Deep over the last 2 years. Think of Ting Tings combined with The Prodigy, and you'll have a good idea of how this album progressed. We even get Limp Bizkit's Red Dust joining in on Bang Your Head Till You Break Your Neck, which is hilarious at first, especially the video, but becomes repetitive and boring after a while and with repeated listens. For me, the standout tracks were Ride the Thunder and Modern Love, but Do It So Good is probably the best example of what the duo are trying to do. You'll either love or hate this, or like myself, sit on the fence to see where this is going to go.
Well, there's one thing William doesn't do, and that's sit on the fence. And I do not expect him to sit on the fence here either. William, Wargasm, was it orgasmic for you, mate?
You don't even want to know, my friend.
Hey!
Oh, Jesus.
Well, that's why I asked you.
Well, so my initial thing is I don't know how I can explain it, but this is perfection, okay? This is a masterpiece, and I can't explain why. It's so good. It's almost like my initial reaction, which made no sense to anyone but myself, is almost like Hybrid Theory. They combined actual Hybrid Theory with Reanimation and had all the electronic remix stuff, but in the actual songs themselves, which makes no sense, but it's all I can hear in my head. Oh, this is awesome! I love it. It's why I love electric core, right? It's brutal, horrible, aggressive metal with electronic and stuff like that. But, it's great. So it's got Fred Durst, because why not? Of course, it's got Limp Bizkit, just for fun. Love that guy. Obviously, it's the whole downvotes for an intro and an outro, but that outro is hilarious. It's just 2 minutes of silence, and it's like, oh, this isn't how we end songs, and it's just the most brutal, kick you in the face, just noise and aggression, and it's I can't stop smiling whenever I think about it. I've added most of this album to my playlist, which I normally wouldn't do, but it's just, I love everything about this. Venom, great. Outrage, love it. Bang Your Head, obviously, fantastic. Also, that album artwork, I need that printed and in my house. That is phenomenal. I am filled with joy and happiness, and this is by far the best album I've heard this month. This is it's just perfection, isn't it? I can't find the proper words in musical technicality. It just makes me really, really happy. Yeah.
Our job is to take you on a journey and make you happy. Well, now, let's talk about perfection, shall we? And let's talk to Trish, because she is rock perfection. Trish, what do you think?
Oh, I'm not worthy of that, but hey ho, I'll take it. This is everything I hate and normally do with Scream, growl, rap rock. But there is something I like about this album, but shouldn't. Is it because the songs are kept short, from 2 to 3 minutes long, which means my ears won't bleed for too long? Yes, I like the short, sharp songs, but my ears aren't bleeding. The mix of rap rock between the male and female vocals work well, and I love Ride the Thunder and the deep, dark vocals singing with the synth beat and drums are great. On the track, Do It So Good, I realise why I like this, and it's because, especially on this track, the music reminded me of The Prodigy, who I really like and have been blessed to see headline at Victoria's Festival before the untimely death of Keith Flint. So yes, Wargasm are working this sound genre of music well and have engaged this rock chick so much so I've downloaded this album. Good job.
And there's a reason we go on a journey, because we can open our eyes to different things. Now, I would say let's open our eyes to Simon, but that wouldn't be a good thing. So let's go talk to him instead. Simon, what about Wargasm?
All right, I'll take it. Wargasm, love it. Absolutely love it. Smashing punk with the modern production, so it doesn't sound like the band were trying to trash the recording booth whilst doing it. I mean, an intro track that actually led into the opening track perfectly. It's a miracle. And what a track. Venom assaults the senses right from the word go, and the album rarely lets up. There's just so much energy in all of their tracks. Death Rattle went straight into my personal playlist, and so many tracks have nods to other punk stuff. And their influences, like Trish said, like Do It So Good and stuff. And that guest track with Bang Your Head with Fred Durst, that was really good. That was really fun. It always has my head banging along. I can't wait to see them live next year. So they're really good. Absolutely loved this album. And as one mentioned, just as a note, the album, love the album cover, just because it's a reference to MSO6 Charles Zaku 2 in the EVA 01, which is just awesome. So yeah, absolutely love the album.
Wow. Dom, I've got a funny feeling that if Simon loved it, and you haven't checked notes, but somehow astrically projection yourselves so you're soul linked, I'm funny feeling I know what's about to come.
Yeah. Fuck, this is an amazing album, isn't it? Just fuck. Yeah. Like, the lead singer's called Milky Way. What's not to love about that? I mean, I'm hooked already. And again, it's the lyrics in there. We've got that blood like Venom. It just is killer. I've been listening to that track like every day for a month. It's like been soundtracking my life at the moment. And there's something really special about their two voices, the kind of call and response thing, which is just perfect. And then you got the electronica, you got the kind of slightly psychedelic vibe in there. There's something really Nine Inch Nails, I think, as well. I can see a bit of that in there, which I love. Dirty, nasty, explosive. It's feisty. I'd say a little bit sexy, and definitely catchy. And again, it makes me think of slightly different genres, but bands that I've seen live, like Juliette Lewis and the Licks, who are just incredible, and Amel and the Sniffers, who saw it Victorious last year and just killed the stage. It was amazing. There's something in there about them. This is my happy place, and there was not one weak moment. The intro was brilliant. Because you listen to it on Spotify, you don't even notice. You just go straight into the first song, and it's amazing. And the end is just really funny. Love it. With these songs, you are really spoiling us.
Oh. So, there are certain albums that I will listen to and hate. And there are certain albums that I won't like, but appreciate. And Electric Callboy was kind of similar to this one. It's not an album that I would go back to, but I appreciated the artistry in this album, and there was a bit too much scream on it for me, but the funk, the electro pop, it was just such an amazing blend that even if you didn't like it, you couldn't not listen to it at least once and go, well, either that's my cup of tea, but you couldn't walk away from this album and appreciate the skill and artistry that has gone into this album. It is a real cauldron of various different genres, and they made it work. As I say, it's not an album. I think I'm more like with Paul, who's kind of going like, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. I'm somewhere down the middle on that score. So, but I couldn't deny, it's a bit like Electric Paul, but I couldn't deny the skill in that one. And it, you know, let's be honest, other than Electric Callboy, it's not an album that I would have heard much of. So that, you know, there is more of that stuff kind of coming through. So definitely, was it as good as Electric Callboy? Nah. It wasn't, but it certainly wasn't far off it from that side of things anyway. So right, well, done everybody? I believe I've done everybody. Let's go to the votes then. Beartooth. Dom, start with you.
I'm going to give Beartooth. This is really hard, but I'm going to give it 4.5.
Ooh, big score. Paul.
3.
Will. You're on mute, mate.
4.5. Yeah. I was trying to work out what I was going to say. I hadn't worked out what point it was going to be at.
Okay. Simon.
Big old 5.
5. Wow, Simon's throwing out the 5s right, left, and centre. Fortunately, between me and Trish liked it a little bit more than I did, but for us, it only got a 1.5. Which I think is incredibly generous for a One Direction metalcore album. More than generous. So that's 9, 14, 17, 18 and a half. Yeah, I'm afraid it doesn't, boys. You might love to have got it into our Hall of Fame. It just is short of our Hall of Fame. Wargasm, though. Let's find out then, shall we? Dom, let's start with you.
It's got to be a 5, isn't it? It can't be anything else.
5. Paul.
2.5.
Will.
5.
And I've already written it. Simon.
5.
5. Well, once again, Trish liked it a little bit more than I did. So, at this moment in time, it needs a 2.5 from me and Trish to get it into the Hall of Fame.
Go on, cover up.
Come on.
Hand over.
If it gets into a 5, it goes in automatically into our album of the year.
Hand over. Come on.
Didn't get any of that. 3.5.
Yay!
3.5. That's 15, 17 and a half. That's 21. Welcome, Wargasm, to our Hall of Fame. Will one of you, gentlemen or ladies, pick this as your wild card to get into the album of the year? Well, you'll find out next month. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe. Please leave your comments. What did you think? What do you think of these two albums? And did Wargasm deserve to get into our Hall of Fame? Did Beartooth? Have they been hard done by me, of course? And let's wait and find out. Please keep careful. Thank you to my wonderful panel, to William, to Trish, to Simon, to Paul, and to Dom. Take care. Keep rocking. See you soon, everybody.
Bye-bye.